Have you ever faced a rejection so soul-crushing, it felt like the end of the world? That's exactly where our story begins, with a young man named Alex, whose mailbox was filled with nothing but thin envelopes, each one a polite but firm no. Alex wasn't born with a silver spoon. He came from a town where dreams were often smaller than the houses. For him, college wasn't just an education, it was a lifeline, a ticket to a different world. He'd studied until his eyes burned, poured his heart into every application, and dared to dream of ivy-covered walls and lecture halls. But the world said no. Not just one college, or two, but every single one. The rejections piled up, each one a paper cut to his soul. He saw his friends posting their acceptance letters, celebrating their bright futures, while his own future felt like a blank, terrifying void. For a moment, he let the darkness win. He felt like a failure, like the world had sized him up and found him lacking. But here's the thing about hitting rock bottom. There was nowhere to go but up. After days of despair, something shifted in Alex. He looked at that pile of rejection letters and a new feeling sparked to life. Defiance. He thought, if they won't teach me, I'll teach myself. That decision changed everything. The world might have closed its doors, but it had also handed him a key, the internet. His classroom became his dusty garage. His professors were online tutorials, and his curriculum was built from sheer curiosity and a burning desire to prove them all wrong. He didn't have fancy equipment or a venture capitalist backing. He had a second-hand computer, a stack of books from the library, and an unbreakable will. He spent his days working odd jobs to make ends meet, and his nights diving deep into the world of coding and software development. He learned about algorithms, user interface design, and business strategy, all from the digital glow of his monitor. It was a lonely journey. There were no classmates to study with, no parties to celebrate small wins. There were just bugs in his code, moments of crushing self-doubt, and the constant nagging question, am I crazy for trying this? But every time he fixed a bug, every time a piece of code finally worked, it was a victory. It was proof that he was capable, that he was learning, that he was building something. Slowly, an idea began to form. A simple app to help small local businesses like the ones in his hometown manage their inventory. It wasn't glamorous, but it solved a real problem he saw every day. He called his startup Garageware, a nod to its humble beginnings. He poured every spare dollar and every waking hour into Garageware. He was the CEO, the lead developer, the marketing department, and the janitor. He reached out to local shop owners, offering his app for free just to get feedback. Many were skeptical, but a few gave him a chance. And it worked. The app was simple, intuitive, and it saved them time and money. Word started to spread. A shop owner told another, who told another. His first few users became his most passionate advocates. Soon he had a small but growing customer base. The first check he received for a modest subscription fee felt more valuable than any acceptance letter ever could. It wasn't a handout, it was earned. The journey wasn't a straight line to success. There were server crashes in the middle of the night, competitors with more funding, and days when he felt completely overwhelmed. But every time he wanted to quit, he'd look at that old pile of rejection letters which he kept in a box. They were no longer a source of shame, but a source of fuel. They reminded him of why he started years past. Garageware, the little app born from rejection, grew beyond the garage. It evolved, expanded, and eventually caught the eye of a larger tech company. Alex, the boy who couldn't get into a single college, suddenly found himself in boardrooms, negotiating a deal worth millions. He remembered the feeling of an empty mailbox and contrasted it with the weight of the pen in his hand as he signed the acquisition papers. He hadn't just built a company, he'd built his own future. But the story doesn't end there. The most surreal chapter was yet to come. One day, an email landed in his inbox. It was a formal, elegant invitation. The sender, the very university that had sent him his first, most painful rejection letter. They weren't offering him admission this time. They were inviting him, Alex, the founder of Garageware, to be their commencement speaker, to stand on a stage he was once deemed unworthy of and share his story. Then another invitation came, and another. The same institutions that had closed their doors to him were now flinging them open, asking him to inspire their brightest graduates. Standing on that stage, looking out at a sea of hopeful faces decorative in caps and gowns, Alex felt a profound sense of irony and gratitude. He didn't talk about his success in terms of money or a big exit. He talked about the power of rejection. He told them, "The world will tell you no. It will test you. It will shut doors in your face, and it will make you doubt your own worth. But that no is not a period. It's a comma. It's a redirection. Your education doesn't end with a diploma, and it certainly doesn't have to start with an acceptance letter. The most valuable lessons are the ones you learn when you have to teach yourself, when you have to fight for your own knowledge." He showed them that failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a part of it. The rejections didn't break him. They built him. They forced him to find a different path, a harder path, but ultimately his own path. Alex's story is a powerful reminder for all of us. When you face that closed door, don't just stand there. Look for a window. If there's no window, start building your own door. Your potential isn't defined by someone else's checklist or a committee's decision. It's defined by your own resilience, your hunger to learn, and your courage to start, even if it's just in a dusty garage with nothing but a dream. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that inspires. Let us know in the comments about a time you turned a rejection into a redirection. We'd love to hear your story. Until next time, keep building.